Hello and welcome back to this episode on Let's Talk Branding with the Logo King. And I hope you've been having a good time because we've actually been having an amazing time with the Logo King. And I'd like to say, if you've not seen the first two episodes, please ensure to watch it because there's a load for you to unpack from that. And we started from talking about branding and talking about the importance of branding to businesses, the roles and the roles people play in the important people, talking about business owners, staffs, designers, and social media, the roles they play. And in the last episode, we are talking about the need for repeating, being consistent. You have to you have to repeat yourself over and over again so that your audience, it's a way of growing your brand and staying sustainable. So today we are here again with the Logo King. Welcome again, sir. We're very happy to have you again with us today. And so last, like I was saying in the last episode, we were talking about the need for repetition, which prompted me to talk about also the need for brands to have brand style guides or brand guidelines per se.
Mm.
So quickly, I want to ask, how important is brand guideline when it comes to building a brand?
Well, I think when it comes to the issue of having a brand style guide, when I started designing, to be very honest with you, not until very recently, I didn't see a need to have a brand style guide. You understand? I didn't even know why companies used to do it then. I didn't understand why. And I thought it was a luxury to give a client a style guide. Um, Not until recently when I started seeing logos that are done for a client around. I see the client, maybe I did this logo about 2 years ago or 5 years ago or stuff like that. And I see the client using it and I just see, look, this is not the exact font I gave that client, or this is not the exact color, this is not the exact shade of blue I used. I see that the client has kind of compromised some of the elements that I used in designing the logo. It might be in terms of font, the type, or it might be in the form of maybe the color or maybe the illustration. Something has been compromised. It wasn't what I did. And that's when I started to realize, okay, these guys actually need to be given a guide to let them know that, look, it's okay to use this logo in this way, but it's not okay to use it in that way. So, sometimes we give clients a logo and we just expect them, okay, this is your logo, go ahead and use it. And they have no idea how to use it. Some of them have not the slightest idea. I've sent clients, I had this very fun experience. I sent a client a logo presentation. I'd done a logo for the client and I sent him a logo presentation. It was like a 16-page PDF, and just telling the client what my idea was around using the logo orientation and stuff. And I sent it to the client. And the client now happened to be working with a printer that I normally work with. So the client wanted to print the logo on, I wanted to emboss the logo on something. And the printer asked for the logo. And this client sent the printer the 16-page PDF of the presentation. And the printer said, I don't know what to do with it. And the client said, look, the logo is there, inside there somewhere, so just use it. And that just makes me realize that the clients don't really understand. They don't understand how to use a logo. I don't know if you've ever done a logo for a client before, and you send the client the transparent PNG, you send the client the EPS, you send the client the JPEG that has a background, a white
Yeah.
background,
Yes.
and you see the clients when they want to use it, maybe use it on a T-shirt, they take that JPEG with the white background in the square and put it
Put it on
directly
the
on the
t-shirt.
T-shirt like that. You understand?
And not
Because
just on the
they just
t-shirt.
don't on
Sorry,
on
not just on the
everything.
t-shirt, like even on social media when they put up
On
designs on
social,
social media, you
yes,
see that a lot.
exactly. When they come with that white square or that square background, because to them that everything is a logo. So, and this is where the brand style guide kind of comes in. It's like you just teaching them how to use it, and it's imperative. It's not a luxury. Remember, you and I we were having this conversation earlier on, and you were asking about a brand style guide for a particular brand. And I told you I don't have one because then I used to charge clients specially for doing style guides. I say, do you want me to design a logo for you, or do you want a logo with a style guide? That is absolutely wrong. Immediately someone design a logo, they need a style guide. It's just like saying when you give birth to a baby, they don't ask whether you want the head attached to it. The head must come with the baby. You understand?
Definitely.
So so that style guide must come with your logo because it helps the client to use it. Now, it's a different issue now whether the client would read it. That's a different thing. You understand? But at least you've put it there so that when the client is saying, I'm having these issues, you can refer them back to the style guide. Although now clients are getting more exposed to the need for them to have a guide. So they know. Unlike 10 years ago when I was a client, just send me my logo. But now you have clients even saying, oh, would I have a guide, that document that will let me know how to use it? So clients are getting more aware. But a style guide is absolutely important because it helps the client to know how to use what you created because you are the creator of the logo. So you must tell them how to use it.
So I couldn't agree more. And if there are two things I know that you've championed a lot as far as the creative industry and as far as business is concerned, is the use of brand guidelines or style guides, and also the use of rate card in
Mhm.
in our services. So I want to talk
Yeah.
about, because we've talked about the brand guidelines and we might actually come back to it later on, but let's touch on the rate card. Now, this issue of rate card, like I've heard you talk about it over and over again in
Mhm.
public forums, in private forums, and you, if there's one thing I've known you for over and over again, you've stressed the importance of designers, not just designers, you stress the importance of businesses, small
Business
business
people.
owners having rate cards. Can you
Yeah.
talk more for the benefit of someone probably hearing this for the first time? Can you tell us why what is this rate card all about? When you talk about rate card, what is it all about?
Yeah, if there's something as you said, something I'm very passionate about is the issue of red card. I have two children now, and I'm thinking if I have a third one, I might call the child red card. You understand? So that I keep reminding myself of how important it is, and I saw the difference it made in my career. So and I want other designers to enjoy that difference, that positive difference that it made in my career. And I keep telling the story about how I didn't have a rate card till a friend of mine called me and told me that there was a client that wanted to see my rate card, and I told him I don't have a rate card, and he said he was going to send his to me, and he sent me his rate card, and I looked it, and I just quickly designed something similar to it, and I sent it to the client, and the client, that was the first time I got paid more than, as in 5 times more than what I usually charge for a logo. And it was all because of the way I presented what I deliver and the way I presented why the cost of what I deliver. You see, a rate card is just the difference between, I use example a lot, between when you go to an open market and someone sets up a table and is selling shoes on the table, and you go to the person and said how much, and you ask the person how much is this shoe, and the person tells you this shoe is 500 naira or 5,000 naira. The first thing, especially in Nigeria and even outside Nigeria, you is to haggle, say, can I pay 3,500? And the guy says, ah, no, 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 you can't pay 3,500, bring 4,000, and you say no, 3,500 is the best I have. It's that haggling system. Unlike when you go to a boutique or you go to a structured shop where they have this shoe and the price label is on it, and you don't argue with the person, the salesperson or anybody, just say how much is it and it shows you the price. You see that you don't argue because you feel like if this price was decided before you got there, so this price is decided independent of you. So you feel like if this person did not size you up before they came up with their price. But when someone tells you the price, just with their mouth looking at you, you might just feel this guy is charging me or this lady is charging me because I'm wearing a nice shirt or because I'm speaking well or because I came with a nice car. That's how people feel when you like tell them it's with your mouth what you charge. But when you have a rate card, a document that was prepared before you even met them, they kind of feel, oh, this guy thought about this thing before I got here. He's not trying to rip me off. He's not trying to size me up. He's just charging based on how he values his work. So the rate card is absolutely, absolutely important for you to have a perception. Remember the last time I talked about perception when it comes to branding.
Yeah.
For you to be perceived as an establishment, you must have a rate card. You understand? You must present your rates and your price in a way that looks structured and looks intentional. So that's what the rate card is. It just shows your services and how much you charge for it, and it shows. Another good thing about rate card is that it shows. Sometimes the client might come to you saying, "IK, I want you to design a logo for me," and a lot of times they say, "How much you design a logo?" Someone that doesn't have a rate card just say, "I design logo for 100,000." You understand? That way, the client might pay 100,000, but then you've not given or you're not giving yourself the opportunity to scale up the project, because a lot of clients are blindsided to what they need in the long run. They're blindsided by what they need in the immediate. So a lot of times when a client tells me, "I want to design a logo," to be honest, that client really needs more than a logo. He needs a logo, he needs business card, he needs letterheads, he needs ID cards, but he's not thinking about that because just thinking about the logo. So when you present a rate card, you show all you deliver, and the client looks at that and say, "Oh, that's true. I never thought I needed this. I never thought I needed this." And so it excites people to want to engage in transaction some more. So one example I can give is, let's assume the difference between a mama put canteen and a restaurant is that when you go to a mama put canteen, they don't have a menu. You go to the counter, you can see the pots in the background, and you kind of ask. You're the one that is asking, "Do you have this? Do you have rice? Do you have beans? Do you have that?" And then she's telling you, we have. So it's based on what you can see. Do you understand? As a
Yeah.
customer. Unlike when you go to a restaurant, they give you a menu. And that menu, you realize that maybe you went there to go and buy rice and plantain or rice and beans, and you look at it, but you now see it, you say, "Oh, not only do they have rice, they have chicken. Not only do they have chicken, they have plantain, they have jollof rice, they have Singaporean rice, they have all those things." So even things you didn't think about getting, because you've seen it in the menu acts like a rate card. So you're saying, you know what, you want this thing, but look at how many other things we can offer you. And sometimes you think about it as a customer, you think, I feel like eating rice, but let me treat myself. I have enough money now. I can afford this thing. Let me treat myself to more than rice. That's what a rate card does. A rate card kind of opens you up to a client to say, "Look, you came for a logo, but we can go so much further and stretch this transaction further for it to be mutually beneficial to both of us."
you, you know, someone might be watching this and okay, I'm a business owner. Uh, maybe I run an event company that handles events, or maybe I run a gift shop. What do I need a rate card? What, because people might think when you're talking about rate card, you're only talking in terms of for the creative industry, maybe for the designers, for the photographers, the painters. But it's quite important for them to understand that this cuts across. It doesn't matter which industry you're operating in. Because
Yeah.
if I want to use ShopRite as an example, when you walk into ShopRite, you already seeing their rate cards because it's plastered and
Mm-hmm.
all over. So
Mm-hmm.
I believe I don't. Can you throw more light so that nobody is confused that okay, he's just talking about those in the creative industry? That's it.
No, no, but by all means, it's for anybody. It's for any business. It can be applied to any business. Now, I might not be able to talk about it in depth about with some businesses because I do not know what their specific deliverables are, and that might be because a lot of other businesses also do not use rate card effectively. Now, when you look at a supermarket like Shoprite, yeah, the truth about that our supermarket system is that they are already a living rate card. You understand? When you
Yeah,
walk into a supermarket, it's a living rate card already. Because have you ever walked into a supermarket before and just said, "You know what, I'm just going to this supermarket to buy water." And by the time you come out, you're carrying 2 nylon bags in your hand. You understand what
definitely.
I'm saying?
Yes.
Because you are seeing everything. You're seeing, oh, there's water. And they're also selling Coke. And there's a sales on Coke. You understand? So let me buy this Coke. Then you go and now see, man, these guys are selling biscuits. Oh. Or you just say, oh, they're selling body spray. My body spray has almost finished. Oh. Let me buy it. Before you know it, that's a living rate card because you're seeing everything with the price and you're thinking, I can afford this. I need this. I can afford this. I need this. So that's a rate card. But now for a business that they will not allow you to see the deliverables, just like I said with a restaurant will not allow you come to their kitchen to see what's in their fridge, on their freezer before you choose. They need to have a document that they can give to you. Just like someone that is baking cakes too. It won't allow you come to the kitchen to start seeing, do you have chocolate flavor? Do you have this? No. So he will put together. So if you're a cake, if you're a baker now, you kind of now think, how do you come with a rate card? You say you can leave it to the client to say, I want 2 cupcakes. Or you can come up with a rate card that say, oh, this is how much for a box of 6. This is how much for a box of 12. This is how much for one large cake that has 3 layers. This one that has 2 layers. This one that has butter icing. This one. So it just depends on you. Just excite the client about the possibilities. So anyone can have a rate card. As much as it's not just designers, it's any business. Especially if you have a business that doesn't allow people to come behind the counter to see what you are offering, then you must show them your rate card, what they can get. So unlike a supermarket that doesn't need, because what the supermarket does is come inside and see our living rate card. So they have everything you want and they have the price plastered on it, as you said. So it's really for anyone. Anyone can have a rate card. The hairdresser can have a rate card. A barber can have a rate card. As I said, a chef can have a rate card. Anyone, even a cleaner can have a rate card. Because someone can say, I want you to come and I want to come to my house every Saturday to clean my house. And then I say, you know what, I have a rate card. I can come and clean your house for this amount. But I can come clean inside your house and read the outside too. That this will cost so and so amount. And person will think, oh, that's true. Inside is not okay. But there are some weeds outside too that I need to get rid of. You never thought of that initially.
Yeah.
You scaled up the project. You understand? A mechanic can have a rate card. You can say, I want to fix this thing. And person can say, not only will we fix it, we will gauge your tires and we will wash your car. Person will think, that's true. I need to wash my car. I'm going to church tomorrow. I won't have time. That's a rate card. You've scaled up the project. So a rate card is something that doesn't leave the choice, the description of the project up to solely to the client. You understand? It leaves it to you to saying the client saying, this is what we can offer you. Can you afford this? Do you need this? That's what a rate card does.
No, it's interesting because you talking about my barber, like that's the first thing I see whenever I go into my barber's shop. Like I see the rate,
Exactly.
like for
Yes, they are one of those things.
children, for men,
In
for
fact,
women. If you want
yes,
to,
in fact, they'll tell you if you want to dye your hair, this is how much it
yes,
is. If you want us
yes,
to
yes,
massage your head, this is how much
yes.
for massage too.
You want
You understand? It's
manicure,
just
pedicure,
if you want
well,
manicure, pedicure, you understand? So
definitely.
there's but there's some barbers that just sit down, let me cut your hair, go pay me. You understand? But some guys will say, you know what, manicure, that's true. I should have a manicure. You understand? Or I should dye my hair. You understand? These are things that you can add to your services without the client saying, this is what I want. Because sometimes the client won't remember it and they'll go and pay that money to someone else that can do exactly what you can do.
True, true. Because it's not like I can remember multiple incidents where I went to barb my hair and without looking at the rate card on the wall, I'm like, yeah, it's been a long time I treated my hair. Like, okay, but I came in with the intention just to barb my hair,
Mm-hmm.
and if I didn't see that to remind me that I can actually treat my hair after barbing the hair, I might just probably just barb my hair and then walk out
Yeah,
there. And then, just
yeah,
like you said, find someone else to do that. But because of
yeah.
they're reminding me, okay, I can actually have more of this. And apart from just the barbing, I'm like, okay, they get more of my money.
Some men are getting facial scrub. The only thing I'm not seeing
Definitely.
anybody doing is brush their teeth and have their bath there. But they do every other thing,
Yeah.
every other thing for you. You
Yes,
understand?
yes, yes,
So
yes, yes.
it's just you scaling up.
Yeah. Well, I think if you're a business owner watching this, like it's time for you to scale up because I know one of the important things, like because from the questions we've gotten, but I'm not sure we'll be reading out any question in this episode, so we'll be reading out next episode. We'll dedicate the next episode solely for just taking your questions. So if you want to scale up, you might consider having a rate card because it's quite important. Now, so I want to talk about brand identity. It's a very, very important. It's a very important element or tool when it comes to business or when it comes to branding. The colors, your tone, your everything that's so the logo and the rest of it. Now, there are two things I've come to believe that is quite important when it comes to design or when it comes to business branding. Now,
Mm.
the first thing is keep your design simple. And the second thing is keep your logo timeless. Now, a lot of startups and a lot of businesses in Nigeria make that mistake of maybe going with a logo that's going with the trend of the now, and then end up not with a timeless logo. And 2 years down the line, they have to change the logo. And then you see some designs on their social media, it's quite complicated. Like there's so many things going on. And sometimes they feel like, okay, that's the wow effect. That's what makes it that's what makes people enjoy being on my post because there's so many things. I don't know, like this keeping design simple and logo timeless. I don't know if you have anything to say about it, sir.
Yeah, it, it, it's it's a really it's a challenge that a lot of designers face. That drawing the line between being too complicated and being simple. I think it's getting easier with time because clients are getting more exposed, and I think that's a good thing about social media. That's a good thing about cable TV. Way back then, when all we had was NTA, and there was no Facebook, no social media, people did not understand that, look, it's important to have a simple logo. So they felt, oh, the logo has to tell the whole story. So it was now up to the graphic designer to use his skill to tell the whole story about a company in one tiny graphics, which we call a logo. And I tell people this: a logo is not meant to tell a story. A logo is at best a conversation starter. You understand? So when people say this logo doesn't say what we do, this logo doesn't illustrate what we do, doesn't tell people that we sell bread, doesn't tell people that we are the number one shoemakers in Nigeria, it's because they expect the logo to do all the talking. The logo is not meant to do all the talking. The logo is meant to be a conversation starter and the logo is meant to lead up to an interesting story. So the truth is, when people look at your logo, they should think, this is interesting. I wonder what they want, what they are trying to say. You understand? Now that starts a conversation. You now think, oh, what does that Nike logo mean? I don't get it. What does it mean? It's simple, but what does it mean? And that's when it leads people to go and check out, oh, what does the Nike logo mean? Then in the Nike website, you can see about our logo and talks about the story. Then you understand it and you're like, oh, that's what it means. But if you have a logo that is so descriptive, you think you know everything about it. Number one, you don't remember it because you've not done any work. It didn't lead to any conversation. So you don't remember it anymore because the person had just told you. I know the truth of the matter is that when it comes to information, when something we retain very little of what we hear. We retain kind of a lot of what we see. You understand? But we retain most what we do. Now that is why your logo should be a conversation starter. Now, if your logo is so descriptive and what they see is the total meaning of the logo, you fed them and they just seen it. All they will do is engage and just seeing it and say, okay, I know what these people do. The likelihood for them to forget that logo is very high. Now, if they look at it and they say, oh, it still raises some questions. They've seen it and are like, I don't totally understand it. It forces people to ask a question. Now, by asking a question, you are now doing. And remember, we remember what we do more than what we see or what we hear.
Yeah.
So by asking, I say, what does Nike logo mean? And you have a conversation. So, oh, Nike logo is just it just shows the wings of, you understand, the goddess of victory or stuff like that. You see, because I've done that research and I've had that conversation, I can never forget what Nike logo means. You understand? Unlike if it's a logo that I don't have to have a conversation about, there is no doing. So the simpler your logo is, the more interesting. it becomes, in the sense that it opens up a conversation. But when it's so complex and you're telling the story, people just feel like, oh, this is what they're trying to say. This is what it means. Do you understand? So when you have, if you're a school now and your logo is a book and a pen and a graduation cap, you said it all now. Come, learn, write, graduate. Why would I remember that? Do you understand? But if your logo is a star, just one shooting star somewhere, do you understand? Chances that I will ask the question about why did they have a star there? Or if your logo is just a beam of light, I'll just think, why do they have a beam of light in shade, in a shield? You understand? It makes me ask more questions about what it means, and it becomes more interesting to me. So a logo should by all means be simple as much as possible. But I think clients are getting to that place where, because of social media, they are beginning to see, oh, there's this company in the US. This is the logo they are using. I went to their Instagram page. I guess this designer might know what he's doing by doing this logo so simple, because they can compare it with their peers outside. Maybe they might be outside Nigeria, within Nigeria, and can say, if this company is using such a simple logo, I think it's okay for me to use a simple logo too. But as I said, way back, there was hardly anyone to compare it with. You couldn't see any international companies easily. But now you watch TV, you see what people are using in the US, you watch a series, you see what people are using, and you're like, okay, so I guess it's okay to use a simple logo. So I think with time, this issue of logos getting simpler and timeless, that timeless thing, what makes the logos timeless is application. When you can apply a logo to various in various ways on various platforms, when a logo is flexible, it becomes timeless. You understand? And that's why simplicity is very important. If I have a logo that I could use on a water bottle, and use on a t-shirt, and use on a napkin, and use on a hoodie, because those things I interact with them day to day, I use it on an umbrella, it becomes timeless, because those items stay in my house, they stay in my wardrobe, they stay on my shelf. You understand? So I see it from, when the logo is too complicated, it becomes hard to adapt, because the printer is like thinking, how many colors do we use? How do we reproduce this thing? Will they see it if we scale it down to this? So it's not adaptable. Because it's not adaptable, it cannot be timeless, because you have to compromise when you want to use it on a water bottle. Now you're like, because we can't put this illustration on the water bottle, it's too complicated, let's just put the name. Then you now start to compromise. But when something that never gets compromised, like the logos that we know nowadays, like the usual suspect, Coca-Cola, Nike, Mercedes-Benz, those things are so easy to brand. I struggle, which is very unfortunate, because I was talking to my wife, and she said, look, you guys should stop talking Coca-Cola, Nike, all those things. You guys talk about, you brand people talk about it too much. Talk about some Nigerian brands. But it's hard, because a lot of them mess it up. You understand? So it's hard to talk about them in simplicity of look. But there are some. If you look at GT now, GT is a very simple logo.
Yes.
It's timeless. You understand? It's very easy to adapt. That color, they've owned it, because it's so simple. When you see it, you know that's GT. If you even look at other banks, then it is simple. You understand? So I think we know how we can get it right. Glow is a simple logo. You understand? And those things are easy to remember. They're easy to own. Unlike when you look at a logo like, I don't even know, because they're just a plethora of them that are just out there. And I don't want to start calling out companies for their bad logos right now. But the simpler it is, the easier it is for us to remember.
Yeah, and I can remember in one of my sections with my students on the brand identity design course here in Creative Ferry Academy, we're talking about this logo issue, and some of them would say like, my client owns a clothing line, and or wants to start a clothing line, or wants to go into fashion, and they want a dress on their logo. Or my client wants to own a delivery, like the usual suspect for me is logistics, because I can
Delivery
count
logistics companies, yeah.
logistics company. That's the usual suspect. Like
Mm,
everyone wants someone
mm.
on a bike, a moving bike, someone like it must be on emotion. Like is it a man on emotion
Yeah,
with carrying the normal? So
yeah.
and I've seen that a lot. In fact, I did a video recently on that, like talking about the logistics. But when you look at in the global sphere, talk about the three most successful logistics brands that I know of. You're talking of FedEx, you're talking of UPS, you're talking of DHL. None of these guys have a bike on their logo. None of them have any man
Mm,
like, and it makes it easy for them to actually expand or like expand in the future because they can expand without their logo limiting them or having the need to actually
definitely.
redesign their logo and all.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
this usually happens with okay, let's talk about Nigeria. I think the big brands or the medium brands, that they're cashing up slowly. I believe it's because of the exposure. But you see the
Yeah.
startups, like most of the startups, I think this is where they are quite guilty of this. I don't know if it's the exposure thing, but we have social media these days. Because me personally, I've seen countless people come to me like, I need a logistics, I need to design a logo for a logistics company. It must have a bike. It must have a bike. Someone must be riding a bike. Like I saw my friend has a logistics. They will show me one Instagram of the friend, and then I'm like, okay, looking at your friend just, what's the reach of your friend? Like, what's the capital? And I try to open the likes of, okay, let me show you DHL, like, let me show you FedEx, let me show you UPS. These guys they are the global leader when
Yeah.
it comes to
Yeah.
logistics.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know, is there something the small business owners or the startup needs to start doing in this aspect?
Yeah. That's a very interesting thing you said. You know, and when you now tell a client, look at DHL, look at UPS, look at FedEx, look at how simple their logo is. You have the client that will tell you it's because they are big. They don't need to prove anything, so they can use anything. You understand?
Exactly.
So and that now brings up the question. It says, which one came first, the chicken or the egg? So is DHL big because they are using a simple logo, or are they using a simple logo because they are big?
That big.
You understand? And that's why I totally believe that these companies are big because they've simplified. They are not simplified because they are big. You understand? As a matter of fact, people have this erroneous belief that big companies are big so they can throw caution to the wind when it comes to branding. No. As a matter of fact, the bigger the company, the more painstaking they are about what they are putting out. You understand? So that mentality of DHL is using this because they are big. So they have the mentality that DHL can afford to lose clients. So those guys are more cautious of losing one client than these small startups. You understand? So they know why they are using those simple logos. Um, so the thing is, the root of this problem when people say, "I want my logo to be descriptive. I want it. I'm a chef. I'm a catering company. There must be food there, and the dish cover and all those things must be there. I'm a tailor. There must be a fashion designer. There must be clothes there. I sell cars. There must be a car in mine." I realize that the very root of the problem is a desperation to make money now. And now I tell people that if you need money urgently, don't go into business. Go and get a job. Do you understand? Don't don't go if you are in need of money. You understand? Money is your driving force, whereby you feel like, if I need to start making money right now, let me start the business today, and by next week I have my first client, and by 2 weeks time I've increased to 5 clients, and by end of the month we have like 500 clients. Don't do business because your heart will be broken, because business is a marathon. It is not 100 meters dash. It will take time. I tell people, a lot of people have good business ideas, but they are too impatient because they are driven by this need to make money now. So when someone tells you we're a logistic business, put a bike there, put someone carrying a parcel and running there. What they are saying is that we want people to see us immediately and identify us as a logistic business and do business with us right now. We don't want to miss the chance of someone taking time to understand our brand and get used to it. That's what they want. They just want people to just see, oh, logistics, bike, let's go and use them. Do you understand? But one thing they don't know is that people don't work that way. People don't
Exactly.
work that way. Good businesses are built with trust, and trust takes time. You can't trust someone you just met right now. You understand? So it doesn't matter whether you put a bike there or someone running there. Most people will still go and work with the DHL or the UPS or the Red Star or whichever one is Nigeria now that is the forefront of Nigeria. Look, if I put two bikes there racing to the destination, it doesn't convince the people. It is those people
Definitely.
that have over the time built trust and said, look, this is what we do. Then they now identify that logo. No matter what that logo is, they identify that logo with trust. So when you are in a rush to make money, you will never make good decisions when you are branding, because your branding would always be how to do this immediately. And that's not branding. Branding is slow. Branding is slow but deep. You understand? So you are taking time to tell people who you are, to leave them, even yourself, open for people to experience you and to say, you know what, this person's company is a credible company. I will work with them. I will dedicate myself to buying from them or working with them. So the problem is not the designer. The problem is the client that feels like if they need to make money immediately. They don't want to leave any time or space for waiting it out and giving people time to experience their brand and say, you know what, I'm trusting these people. So relationships like that are never strong. When a woman meets a man that wants her to marry him tomorrow, just met him today, be careful. You understand? You can't marry that kind of person. That person is a dangerous person. If you meet someone that is willing to know you and go from friendship to building a relationship and is patient and is beginning to say, look, you know what, let's take our time, take some time to know his parents, know his friends, know that that's the kind of person you can trust and get married to eventually. That's the same thing with branding.
Exactly. Like I always say, people buy from who they know. It's just that
True.
simple. Now, lastly, sir, before we wrap up this episode, I just want to ask one question. As a business owner, when do I rebrand? When is there a need to rebrand? We hear rebranding a lot. What's your take on that as a business? When do I rebrand? Is it when I'm failing or when I feel like I need to expand? When is the perfect time to rebrand as a business?
Now, there are different things that could lead to a company rebranding. I don't think I can even think off the top of my head everything that could happen to lead to rebranding. Um, the truth is, a lot of people rebrand these days to get attention. I don't like it, but that's the way the world works right now. So when a bank feels like if, oh, they are forgetting us, they are forgetting us, they are forgetting us, they are beginning to go to GT, people are going to GT, let's rebrand. Because when they rebrand, our attention will come. People like us, designers, will go on and say how bad their logo is, compare it, get us people talking, say, I can't believe they paid. Look, these things, we are being pawns in the hands of these organizations that rebrand. In fact, they love us designers talking about this thing because they put it out there. You paid 200 million for
Million.
this logo, and I see the logo. The logo is bad. They know that it's going to strike up conversation. So you start talking
Definitely.
about it in your design groups, design groups, design groups. Everybody talks about it, and it now gets so big that everybody knows it. You've helped them with some
Market.
publicity.
Yes.
You understand? So some people do it for publicity's sake. I don't like it. I think it's a very lazy way to brand. Very lazy, and it never lasts. When you do it for when you rebrand for publicity, in the end, people will get used to it again and begin to forget it. So rebranding must be deeper. I believe people can rebrand if they feel like, oh, um, our line of products, this our logo is restricting us to a particular audience, to a particular demographic. So we want to open up, and we feel like if we should open up our identity to look more accommodating. Rebrand by all means. We have companies that rebrand because they've had some form of scandal. You understand? Because companies go through these things. Something can happen. Someone can use a product, and a lot of people die. There are companies that could rebrand because they got it wrong in the beginning, and that's very okay. Especially with small startups where they kind of feel like if when I started this company, I didn't have enough money to hire a designer. So you know what? I did it myself with Microsoft Word. But now my company has grown. I can't be using a Microsoft Word logo. It doesn't look good. I can afford a good designer now. So let's rebrand. That is acceptable. That's a good reason to rebrand. So there are a lot of reasons why an organization could rebrand. As I still said, that publicity thing seems to be why a lot of people rebrand nowadays. I think it's a waste of money. I think it's it doesn't have the desired effect over a long period of time. Do you understand? But rebranding is good. Some people just rebrand because they feel they've hit a milestone, and that's also a good reason to rebrand. If you feel like if we've been doing this thing for 100 years now, you know, we want to celebrate our 100th year with a new identity, just to mark it in our history that is said about us that when we hit 100 years, we change our logo.
Yeah.
You understand? That's also a good reason to rebrand. So there are a lot of reasons why companies could rebrand, but it must not be. It doesn't have to be for publicity. But even after saying this, now there are still companies that are doing it right now, and engaging people for millions of naira, millions of dollars, just to get some buzz on social media and stuff like that.
Well, folks, you've heard that from the Logo King himself, and that's this is actually what we call a wrap on this episode. And like I said, we apologize for not reading out any question on this episode, because this episode we wanted to more of like hear from him. We wanted to hear from the Logo King. We wanted to educate our business owners, because some business owners actually sent us messages. Now, in the next episode is solely dedicated to you guys. So all the questions sent in, we're going to try and answer some, and we're going to just talk about that. So uh, stay glued onto this channel, and don't forget, you can follow. We'll be dropping the link to Mr. Tola's social media account, and also the link to his Pro Masterclass, his YouTube channel. It's an important channel if you're a designer, if you're a business owner, not just a designer. If you are interested in your business succeeding, I think you should check out that channel. And also, if you're interested in I'm a brand identity enthusiast, I'm interested in designing, you can also check us out at the Creative Ferry Academy. We have a brand identity course solely for you, a well packaged course. Now, thank you very much, sir, and we will see you guys in the next episode. And that's our last episode. Peace.